Welcome to Session 0 of Moms on a Mission, a brand new D&D podcast, vodcast, whatever you're watching or listening to this on. I'm your dungeon mother or dungeon master, Madison, and we're just going to jump right into it. Welcome to Edris, a world that I put together. It's extremely inspired by all of the other modern themed D&D worlds that are out there in media. Moms on a Mission takes place in a mostly urbanized country called Archaea, which is run by a prime minister named Lena Rowan. Lena Rowan is a younger half-elfin woman who is always seen with her ferret named Bree, and she's been the prime minister for about a year. Her term, this is her first term, probably will last about 5 years. Government in this country and in this continent, it's all kind of run by a council of countries. So once a year, all of the countries' prime ministers and presidents and whatever they call them will meet up and kind of discuss everything. And that's just a once-a-year occurrence that happens. Most of Edris follows a pantheon of deities. There are a few other religions and followings out there, but all of the PCs follow the pantheon, which is made up of Harmonia, who is the goddess of motherhood and the queen of the heavens. She is the mother of the seasonal deities and is the wife to Arya. Arya is also the second half of the parenting duo of the seasonal deities, as well as the deity of the arts and the sun. And they have a sibling or a sister named Agnesa. Agnesa was the goddess of death and vengeance up until one day all of her records went missing, or less missing and more just changed, and she was presumed or known to be at this point furthermore dead. She did have a son. Her son's name is Phenos, and she was married to a woman named Eva, or a deity named Eva, I should say. Eva is the goddess of mystery. She's the goddess of divination and the protector of the pure, the protector of innocence. Phenos, who is Agnes's son, is the god of war and secrecy. And then there are the seasonal deities. The seasonal deities are composed of 4 siblings. To start, there are the twins, Ziva and Cain. Ziva is the goddess of autumn and the harvest, whereas Cain, her twin, is the god of winter and medicine. They have 2 younger siblings, Mirza, who is the god of love and spring, and their youngest sibling, Stasia, who is the goddess of summertime and the ruler of the seas. Let's actually meet our moms.
Hi, I'm Will, and my character for Moms on a Mission is Fenrith Delmire. Fenrith's pronouns are they, them, and they are a 42-year-old silver dragonborn and a storm herald barbarian. They have 2 kids. They have a son named Bram, who is 10, and a daughter named Marin, who is 7. They've been raising Marin and Bram on their own for the past few years because their wife, Amelie, passed away, and it's been a bit of a struggle, but they love their kids very much. Marin is sort of at the age where she's just really rambunctious and always getting into something, but she's really sweet and outgoing, and Bram is sort of getting into kind of creative stuff, and he's a really sweet kid, and Fenrith loves them both very much. And they are also a baker, and they work in a bakery, and then they also stress bake in their free time. And my magic item that Fenrith uses is also a weapon. It is the Maul of Trust, and it allows me to hit a critical success on a 19 or 20, and it also gives advantage on persuasion checks. Yeah, thank you. I'm super excited.
Hi, I'm Ani, and I play Illiawen Moonbrook. Illiawen's pronouns are she, her, and she is 325 years old, but according to her, she doesn't look a day over 200. Illiawen is a high elf and a Way of the Drunken Master monk. Illiawen is also a level below the rest of the moms because we decided levels were going to be based on how experienced you were as a mom, and Illiawen is not that experienced. Illiawen also has the Magic Initiate feat. In the first couple of episodes, I think it's Druid because I originally took the feat for combat reasons, and then I switched it to Wizard for actual backstory reasons. Like I mentioned, Illiawen isn't a super experienced mom because she's actually not a mom at all. Her kids are her niece and nephew, Aaron and Fane. She's taking care of them because her sister is sick and currently unable to take care of the day-to-day. So Illiawen takes over while her sister is getting better. Aaron is 10 and Fane is 5. Erin loves to read. She's always got her head buried in a book, loves to tell people about the books she's reading. She also has dreams of being the world's best wizard, so she is constantly trying to get her hands on spells and things of that nature. Fane is outgoing. He's very boisterous and loud, and he loves to be the center of attention. Illiawen's magic item is a wine bottle, as per the nature of Drunken Master Monk. It is called the Cabernet of Beguiling, and it is a bottle of wine that I can drink out of once per long rest and allows me to add +2 to my dex modifier and gives me advantage on charisma saving throws and charisma checks because Illiawen does have a 5, so a -3 to charisma based checks. Yeah, that's Illiawen, and I hope you guys like her and the podcast. I'm excited for you guys to meet her.
Hi, my name is Sol, and I'll be playing a wood elf druid named Sylver Oakspine. Sylver is a Circle of Stars druid well into her 400s, and her pronouns are she, her. Sylver is the mother of one, a drow teenager named Ivy, whom she loves with all of her heart. Ivy's going through a bit of a rebellious phase, as most teenagers do. Not that Sylver notices. She's very supportive of her daughter's hobbies and tries her best to make hair dyes at Ivy's whim. Sylver is a fortune teller by trade, running a small business off the road to predict the futures of wayward travelers. She does this with the aid of her crown of faith, a flower crown decorated with stars that mechanically gives her the ability to use portent rolls. Also, an important fact about Sylver is that she owns a flip phone. God bless.
Hello, I'm Ezra and I play Carlotta Mareks. Carlotta is 35 years old and uses she/her pronouns. She's 5 feet 11 and she's very buff. She's a human paladin of Harmonia with the Revenge Oath. Harmonia is the goddess of motherhood in the heavens. Carlotta has 4 adopted children, Kiara, who's 13, Vespira, who's 11, Doran, who's 9, and Embra, who's 4. She also has 2 cats, Pumpkin and Sesame, and 1 dog, Scruffy. They're all a big happy family. Carlotta's children are the most important part of her life, and although she doesn't have a real job, she volunteers around the city helping people in need. Carlotta's magic item is the Great Sword of Strictness, which gives her advantage on intimidation checks and also an additional d6 of damage. Despite her high charisma, Carlotta can be rather awkward at times, and she focuses more on intimidation with her charisma than persuasion. Throughout her life, she struggled with what it means to be a chosen of Harmonia, but recently she's been wondering what her religion means to her at all.
Hi, I'm Luciana, and I play Doctor Margaret Alhari, or Maggie. Maggie is an orthopedic surgeon at St. Hyatt's Memorial Hospital and a half-orc life domain cleric of Cain, the god of medicine. The greatest gifts Cain ever gave her were her two twin 13-year-old girls, Elizabeth and Catherine, also known as Lizzie and Katie, and a 6-year-old boy, Timothy, or Timmy. The second greatest gift from Cain was her holy symbol, a necklace with a stone that looks like gray ice that never quite warms to her body temperature. It focuses and gives her bonuses on her attacks and damage. Her ex-wife Melissa works for the school district and helps her parent her children, even though their relationship is no longer what it was. But all the love she needs comes from Cain and her children, who remind her there is warmth even in the coldest of winters.
Hello, my character's name is Eliza Sparks. She's 35. Her pronouns are she, her. She's a Fire Genasi Abjuration Wizard. Her kids are Sasha, who's 10, almost 11, and Apollo, who is 8. They're the thing she cares about most in the world. Her magic item is a bracelet of concentration that was made by her kids at a school craft day. And that's about it. She owns a bookstore with her father and children, and she just really likes books and her children.
Now that there is a base layer of lore to this world, we can jump into session 1. In session 1, we met the moms, and we met all of their wonderful, beautiful children. We also were introduced to a few NPCs, such as Juniper, who is a suburban mom type, as well as Melissa, who is Maggie's ex-wife. We open up the morning of the last day of school, and also the morning of the big final PTA meeting of the year. The moms get their kids ready to school, however timely that is. For some, it is extremely timely, and for others, they show up an hour or two late. We kind of time skip the workday to get right into that PTA meeting, and the moms kind of get their bearings with the rest of the parents in the PTA, distribute cookies and wine, while also sharing dirty looks and conversation before the power goes out, and when it comes back on, all of the kids have disappeared, and a fight ensues between our 6 mom PCs, as the rest of the parents in the PTA meeting are too stunned to kind of process or to be able to put up a fight. And the moms, or the PCs, put up a heck of a fight against a group of big barbarian men and a smaller spellcasting type of character who disappears at the end of the fight. We then are introduced to, after the combat ends, Eliza's ex-husband Finn, who shows up looking for the kids, and a very interesting conversation comes out of that as well. The next day, the moms receive a note to go to the train station at 9 p.m. that night to maybe find answers about where their kids are or who took them. They head to the train station, and it was a setup. They fight with a train conductor who they later find out is possessed, as well as a group of elementals, but with a very high arcana check from the group's druid Sylver. She finds that a quick dispel magic can take care of the elementals easily, but not before the group's barbarian Fenrith Delmire takes 2 critical hits and is still standing by the end of the damage rolling. Other notable things from session 2 include finding a love note that tips off possibly who could have their children, and also finding a bracelet that had pieces of white fur or hair stuck to some of the beads. And most notably, after the fight, while a storm raged on outside, the moms return home. But for Carlotta, a different fate was in store, because as she stood outside her home, staring at the Temple of Harmonia across the street from her house, thinking about the irony of the goddess of motherhood and her missing children, Carlotta speaks out against her goddess and is strucken for it. And that's where we'll pick up on episode 1, which should be out in about 2-ish weeks. We're on a every other week schedule, but you can find us then. You can also find us on Twitter at MomVodcast. That is at MOMVODCAST. Thank you guys all for listening and for keeping with this. I know that we announced it extremely early, since you're most likely hearing this in February or late January. But for any updates, you can find us on Twitter. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel if you'd like. But again, thank you all for watching, listening, whatever you're doing. We appreciate you more than you could ever know. Be safe. Thank you once again. And bye.
Hi, Ani here. Just a little bit of housekeeping stuff at the end. So I just want to give a disclaimer that there are some episodes that will be released that have crunchier audio quality than normal, and we do so apologize for that. Please keep in mind that this is our first podcast, and that we're still learning exactly how to do this properly and provide the best audio quality that we can. So please keep that in mind as you listen. And yeah, thank you so much for listening to episode 0. We hope you enjoyed it.